Hello everyone. In the previous session, we learned how to express patterns using a regular expression. In this session, I am going to discuss about how to recognize these tokens. Lexical analyzer is going to read the input and then it always try to match for a certain patterns. Now this the matching pattern we generally call it as a lexeme. Now this lexeme should satisfy the pattern for some tokens. Then only we can recognize that respective token. Now consider here for an example, if we consider a branching statement. See, this branching statement is nothing but it's a conditional statement. In this case, it's going to use this example is taken for an Pascal programming language. It is using some statement, and that statement is a branching statement, and it consists of if and then followed by certain expressions, then again some statement. That expression could be any relational operators, or it could be a term. Okay, now consider here in this example we are using some terminals. See, these terminals are the tokens. Now in this case, an example, if it is uh, a keyword called if, or else it's a then, and here it is RELOP, so then ID, number. So these are all the some terminal symbols which are using in this example. Now consider this, what you mean by this. If is a reserved word, ID is an identifier, RELOP is a sum operator, number is a representation of some integer number or a whole or a decimal numbers. How your lexical analyzer is going to recognize all these different type of tokens? Consider in this case, you are going to give the regular expression representation for each type of tokens you are looking for. If you want to look for a number, then that number consists of digits if it is a whole number. If it is a decimal number, it consists of uh, with some decimal values by including dot. And if it is an even, you can represent the same thing by using an exponential notation, or you can say scientific notation. So now in this case you can see this number. See, this number is going to be recognized by using a regular definition digit with 0 to 9, and then the same definition is used here, that is with digits, that is digit plus one or more digits. Now you can observe it in the number pattern. It can be a digits followed by dot, again with one or more digits, and then with an optional scientific notation. It means that this whole regular expression represents for all three type of numbers, that is with a just integer number, real number, and as well as a integer or a real number with scientific notations. Similarly, you can just check for another one, that is here it is identifier. The identifier is nothing but it's a letter followed by one or more letter or digits. Then we have written already what is that letter and digit. The definitions for letter and digits is already given here and then here. Now similarly, we have another type of keywords, that is if then else. See, these are literally a keywords, then we are going to recognize them in the regular expression as just really for an if it's an if, for an else, for an then it's a then for an else then it is literally an else only, means these are the reserved words. And after that we have here some relational operators. This could be either less than, or it's a greater than, or it's an something called as not equal, like that. So now these, whenever your lexical analyzer is going to recognize a certain lexeme when it matches for a certain pattern, and then what type of token it's going to recognize and what are its attributes. So this is given in this in the next slide table. And before that you can just see here another thing is that your lexical analyzer also has to process some white spaces, means it has to strip out all those white spaces whenever they encounter. So that's what here it is given. Ws is nothing but either it can be a blank or it can be a tab or it's a new line. Now just see this in the table how your lexical analyzer is going to recognize all the tokens and data attribute values. As I told in the previous slide, if it is a if the lexeme is found as if, then it has to return it as just a token as if, because it's a reserved word. If it is an else, then it has to return it as else. Now if it is an identifier, then this identifier has got a many values. It could means you can have an identifier with a different value. So that's what you should do, recognize it as an id, and it should be entered into a symbol table with a pointer. Means, for example, if there is an a is there, your lexical analyzer going to recognize a as an identifier, and then it should be made an entry to the symbol table. Similarly, if there are any numbers, then the same thing, it has to recognize it as a token, and then that has to be entered into a table. Similarly, all these relational operators, for example, if it is less than or equal, then it is returning a token as RELOP, then it has to give the attribute value as less than or equal to. If it is not equal, then the token is RELOP and the attribute value is not equal. Since you like this, your lexical analyzer, what it can do is that it can match for a particular lexemes, and then it's going to realize that it is a certain token, and it's going to return this token along with the attribute value. Now these all the tokens are going to be recognized by your lexical analyzer. What it does is that it is in between, or as an intermediate step, it's going to create some transition diagrams. It means that we can recognize these tokens with the help of transition diagrams, and these transition diagrams are nothing but your state diagrams. This uh, is already discussed in the previous course, that is automata theory. I am just recalling it here. Your transition diagrams have a collection of nodes, or you can call them as a circles or call it as states. Generally we use a term as states. And see, we know that whenever you are there in a transition state, or whenever you are there in a particular state, you are going to receive some inputs, and based on this input you will be moving to the next state. And if you want to do the transition from one state to another state, then you have to use edges. So the edges are directed from one state of the transition diagram to another, and each edge is labeled by a symbol. It means that you are moving from one state to another state, and then you should know that on what input you are moving from one state to another state. Your transition diagram can have one or more final state, Once you reach the final state, then your lexical analyzer is going to consume that particular input. And your transition diagram must also have one start state. In the entire transition diagram, there must be only one start state, but you can have more than one accepting states. So now just see this example where we are considering the identifying the relational operator. See, if assume that you are there in the start state as 0 here. Okay, so now in this state, as we have seen in the previous case here, in this example, you can just check it out here that we have um, mm, okay, let me come back to the slide where I was. Okay, see, we know that our regular expression, our relational operator is going to begin with either less than symbol, or else it can begin with equal symbol, or else larger symbol. All your relational operators begin with either these three symbols: less than, equal, and greater than. You are in the state 0 here, and then if it is a less than, you will be moving to a state called as 1. If it is equal, then you will be moving a state to the 5. If it is greater, then you will be moving to the state 6. Now understand here the diagram carefully. If it is less than, you will come to the state number 1, and then from that again, if itself is a less than, then I should accept that it is an less than symbol. Means the lexical analyzer must recognize the lexeme as less than, and it has to return it's a relational operator with an attribute value lt. You can observe this uh, this star notation here. It means that for any state, if we are mentioning that there is a star, it means that you are going to retract 1. It means that you will be coming here, and then you are going to accept only the less than. We are going to skip this other part. Please understand that for any state, if there is a star mark is there, then you will be retracting one position back. It means that you are moving from the state 4 to state 1, and then you are going to accept only less than. But see the other case here, whenever you are using this less than, and after that if there is an equal here, in that case you are going to use, see, there is an less than, equal, and then this is going to be accept it as it's an operator with less than or equal. Similarly, you can do it with all the other things. The important thing you have to understand in this diagram is that there are so many accepting states are there, but for some accepting states we have marked it as a star. So it is indicating that whenever you are using the star here, it means that for this particular state, it is going to accept, means you have to go back one state back, and then you have to accept that symbol only. In this from the start state, the greater, you come to the state 6, and then from there you move to the state 8. And here we have realized that the lexeme is only greater than. We are going to return it with a attribute value gt, and then it's an uh, send back to the, means it goes back to the state number 6. See, this is what how we are going to recognize, how the lexical analyzer is going to recognize your token by using the transition diagram. Now come to the next type of an identifier. Next type of a token is identifier. In this case, see, we have a transition diagram. The identifier pattern is, it should begin with a letter followed by a one or more letter or digits. See, we have drawn this transition diagram. Observe it very carefully that of course it is going to accept all the identifiers because we have begun with a letter that is moving. If the start state is 9, and then if there is a letter, you come to the state 10, and in this state 10 you are going to, you can accept two inputs, that is a letter or digit or else any other symbol. That time you simply, you are going to you are going to recognize that it's an identifier. See, this is an correct transition diagram for recognizing an identifiers, but there is a certain problem existing in this transition diagram. See, if your language is using a reserve word like if, see, in this case what happens, the, it's going to accept the if also. See, if the, for an if the first letter is I, you are moving from the state number 9 to 10 on the processing I, and there is an f is there, then again you will be there in the uh, state number 10 because it's a self loop. You are, it's going to match f. So from 9 to 10 you have matched I, and then 10 to 10 it is f. Now after that, if generally in the, when you are using in the programming language, if you will be either, it will be after that if there will be a space or it will be an opening parenthesis, it means that lexical analyzer is going to encounter an and some other symbol, then it moves to the 11. See, when it moves to the 11, then it's going to return that it's a some token, that is an identifier token. And then here I will come back to this this particular symbol, that is get token, and then later. But just understand here, see, this is going to recognize your if also. But now the question lies here, whether the if is an identifier or it's a keyword. See, it accepts if identifier or keyword, means we have to check it out. How to resolve these kind of problems. See, you have written a transition diagram to recognize the identifiers, but it also recognizes the keywords. Then there is a possibility of an error. Then how to handle these things? There are two ways that you can do. One thing is that you can store all the reserved words initially in the symbol table. It means that, for example, if I consider the C programming has got 32 reserved words. All these 32 reserved words I can preserve, I can store it in the symbol table with some known locations like 1 to 32. The first 1 to 32 are reserved words in the symbol table, and then from the 33rd location onwards, then I can store some symbols or some other things. It means that initially what you do is that you store all those reserved words in the symbol table, and whenever you are going to recognize something, that you just check it in the symbol table. For example, as I told now here, if it is recognized, now here it's going to get it in the, see, if you can just check it out here. In this case, let me use the highlighter. See here, there is a function, it's going to return get token. Get token means that it is going to get it from the symbol table, and then here it is there. Okay, means id you have matched if, whether it is there in the symbol table. If it is already there, then it cannot be a identifier. It means that you have already stored 1 to 32 locations in the symbol table as all the reserved words. Now if is a reserved word, then If it is a reserved word, then it must appear it in the symbol table. If it is appearing in the symbol table, then you can say that it's not a identifier, it's a keyword. Okay, if it is not there, then what you have to do is that then you will be using, if it is not a keyword, if it is an identifier, then what you should do is that you have to store it in the symbol table, that is install id. Install id means you have to store it in a symbol table along with its attribute value. That is one way. We are resolving here to recognize the keyword and some identifier, how to differentiate this keyword and identifier. One way is that you have to install all the reserved words in the symbol table initially only. The other option is that you can create a transition diagram for each such keywords. For example, we in the C example, in the C programming language again, if you have got a 32 symbols, then you must have a 32 transition diagrams so that they can recognize that what kind of keyword it is. The one example is taken here, it is a then, means then is a keyword. Assume that this is not an example of C programming language, it's an example of Pascal programming language. In the Pascal, you are going to use the keyword as then. So what you are doing here, you are moving from the start, then it moves to the next state as t by consuming that t, then again it moves to the next state by consuming h, like that. Here up to n it comes to this state here, and when it comes to this state, here it is non-letter or digit. It means that either it could be generally that if expression, then again there is a some statement, so that can be followed by anything. That's what here it is given, non-letter or digit, and then finally it comes to the accepting state. It means that you are moving from start to accepting state by consuming then. So this is another way of recognizing the tokens. So now here generally this is not going to be used in the exam, because this is going to be very difficult. That's what generally this kind of approach is not suitable. Okay, but anyway, what you can do is that if you want to recognize a certain reserved words, then you can use these kind of transition diagrams also. Now take another little bit complicated example here, which will recognize you the unsigned numbers. So many times these examples are asked in the exam also. Now just concentrate here. Say assume that you want to recognize unsigned numbers where you don't have any plus and minus, but there are numbers. These numbers could be either an integer number or decimal numbers, or even with some numbers which are represented in the scientific notations. So what you can do is that you begin with the lexical analyzer is going to begin with a start state. Assume that in this case it is 12. Okay, so now here if it is an purely an integer number, for example 1, if it is 1, then uh, it comes from the state number 12 to 13, and after that if there is a space or something else is there, then immediately it comes to the state number 20. So now just see here, I am going to accept a certain number, that is 1, and then I come to the state number. From accepting 1 I will come from 12 to 13, and after that some other character you come to the state number 20. So now here when you comes to the 20, it means that your lexical analyzer has recognized the lexeme as 1, number 1. Then see this 1 has to be matched with certain it is matched a pattern of an integer number, so then it should accept it as an integer. Suppose if it is 123, the lexeme, if the input is 123, it starts from 12. On consuming 1 it comes to the state number 13, and on consuming next digit 2 it will be remain in the state 13, and on consuming the third digit 3, again it will be in the state number 13. So now after that there is some other character is there, means it comes to the state number 20. So now here what should do, it should recognize that the pattern as 1 2 3, lexeme is 1 2 3, and then this matches a pattern for an integer number, then it has to recognize that it is an integer. Okay, now just see here, there is an again a very important star. It means that whenever you come to this state you have to retract. It means that accept the 123 as it is. It means that here I am going to get this, I am going back to the state number 13, and then I realize that it is an 130. You are accepting it, but that whatever the other character you have lexical analyzer has read, it must be eliminated. So you will be accepting only 123. If it is not an integer, means when you are representing the numbers, if it is not a whole number, then it could be decimal numbers or else with some scientific notations. Then what it does, it's going to check. You have, for example, 1.3 is there. You begin with a state 12, you consume 1, and then you come to the state 13, and then here when you are in the 13 the input is dot, so then you will come to the state number 14. And here again after that 14 there should be at least one digit, means when you are representing a decimal numbers or a real numbers, you cannot say that it is 1 point is some real number. Now after decimal there must be a some at least one digit. So that is what here what we are doing. In this case 1.3, if it is an after point, you are going to take at least one digit, that is you move from state number 14 to 15, and after that if nothing is there then it comes to the state number 21. So here it is, you have moved from the state number 12 to 21 by consuming 1.3. So it means that it is going to accept the decimal number. Similarly after dot if you have anything, then also what you can do, it can be in the self loop and then it can consume all those, then it will come. So with the state number 20 you are going to accept an integer number, with the state number 21 you are going to accept the decimal number. And see, suppose if it is an integer with a scientific notation like 1e some 10 raised to something like that, if it is there, then what it does, it comes from the state number 12 to 13 and immediately it goes to the 13 to 16, because there is an integer exponential is there. Similarly if it is an decimal exponential is there, it comes from 12 to 13 and 13 to 14, 14 15 up to 16, and then it continues. So this is a bit complicated transition diagram, but it is not difficult to understand. There are many states are there, but easily you can understand them. So this is going to recognize the unsigned numbers. Now this is a transition diagram for an white space. Here we have taken the delimiter. The delimiter could be either your blank space, or it's a tab, or it's a new line. Okay. In the exams it is many times asked, draw the transition diagram for unsigned numbers, draw the transition diagram for the relational operators, like that. Okay, you please observe, study these diagrams carefully, and then try to understand. Okay, then after that how these, whatever the transition diagrams we have seen till now, how these can be implemented, how your lexical analyzer is going to, anyway in the transition diagram you are representing the whole structure. It means that what input is going to process, and in which state it will be there by consuming certain input, that all you are shown it in the transition diagram. So what you can do is that you can implement these transition diagrams by using any programming language. So one such example is taken it here for an relational operator. The example is taken here, it is with means this is a C++ code when you are going to use the relational operator, how you are going to process it. See, what we have done is that in this case, we have created an one object, that is token. Let me use highlighter. See, I am here, the token is used. Every time what you have to do is that whenever you encounter any relational operator, you have to create an object, okay, and then in that object you have to store what type of relational operator it is. So here this particular statement is going to the whole thing is going to, you are going to create one object called it is ret token. Recall the previous diagram what we wrote, what we have drew in the uh, what we have drawn in the earlier slide. Our start state was 0. So now this whole thing is implemented with a switch statement, and your input is state here, that is the start state, it's a 0. So now when you are in the state 0, you are going to read next character. See, in the state 0, it's going to accept only the three inputs: less than, equal, and then greater than. Suppose if it is equal to less than, you will be moving to the state 1. So it means that okay, there is a less than symbol is there, then here. And when you come to the state 1, again there are so many options there, whether you are checking for an equal or you are checking for an other. Okay. Now if it is not an less than, then what it could be? The other two options are remaining here, either it can be equal or greater. So if it is equal, then you will be moving to a state number 5. If it is greater, you will be moving to the state number 6. See, anyway, here in this example, all the cases are not designed, but understand the similar process is going to be repeated everywhere. Suppose if it is in case if it is not, you are in the state 0 in the start state. If it is not any one of this, it's not a less than, or it's not an equal, or it's not a greater than, then it could be something else which are not related to a relational operator. Then what you have to do is that you have to call a function called as fail. So now what this fail does is that, see, already we have seen that your lexical analyzer maintains the two things, two pointers, lexeme begin and forward. When it has read it as a less than symbol, it has come to an you are in the state 0, and then your lexeme has begun is pointed to that starting character. Then if it is not a relational operator, means it could be something else. Then in that case what happens, the fail function has to set your forward pointer again back to the previous character of that lexeme begin. So it means that the fail function, in this case the it's not a relational operator, and then it is failed. Now assume that you are in the state here in the whenever you are going to you begin with the state number 0, and then you have processed a larger symbol, that is you will be moving to the state number 6. When you are there in the state number 6, then you are going to accept another symbol, then you will come to the state number 8. Now understand that how the state number 8 is going to work here. Okay, so now what it does is that in this case, see, already we have seen in the transition diagram that you have come to the state 8 from the state number 0 to 6 by consuming greater than symbol, and after that some other character, then you are reached to the state 8. Now here when you come to the state number 8, you have to retract one state back. That's what we are calling the function here, retract. It means that don't consider the last consumed character. Okay, and then you are going to assign the attribute as gt because it's a greater than symbol. Then now the whole thing has to be returned back. So please understand here, this is a just one way of showing the one symbol, that is GT. Now when you expand this whole program, the entire relation operators is going to, it can be written case 0, it means that state 0, case 1, it means that state 1. When you are there in the state 1, again there are three inputs, that is if c if c is equal to, means you have to read the character c, that is next char. If c is equal to equal symbol, or if c uh, is equal to greater, see already you have consumed in the state 1, you have consumed less than symbol. Assume that if you are going to consume a greater than symbol, so it means that according to the Pascal programming language, you have got a less than and greater than symbol, means it's a not equal. So then what you are going to do is that you will be coming to the state number 3 by consuming less than and greater than symbol. There you can write it as whatever the code you are written for in case 8, the same thing can be written, but only thing is that the attribute is going to be NE. Like that it is going to be continued. So in the whole session, what we did is that we just recognized or we just studied what are all the different we have seen this with examples, what are all you can means how your a transition diagram is going to be used to recognize the tokens. We have seen with different examples. I hope you are clear with the this explanation. Make sure that you are going to uh, study this along with your textbook, and if you have any difficulties, you please feel free to contact me. Take care, stay safe.